the actual start for the green flag is between La Source and Eau Rouge, so a bit of a strange thing there, but I don't actually know why that is, but it is the way it is. So here we are anyway, we're coming double file here, as we are. Oh, actually, I don't know, do we start here maybe? I don't know, I'm sure we go around the corner.
We start going down towards the Rouge, because this is the 24-hour layout.
Yes.
Which the 24-hour starts going down towards Rouge.
Although the timing line for qualifying is on the same start-finish straight as the F1, which is just a bit weird.
Yeah, so that's obviously how they do it. So at the end of the 24-hour, they cross the line there. They're doing a whole lap, they just do a U-turn into the pit lane.
It makes sense, save them going an extra corner, but nonetheless, here we are anyway, coming up towards the line, about to go racing here for the 90-minute endurance race here at Spa. No extra points, just a bit of pride at stake, and obviously an extra element thrown into the mix. As here we are, we're racing now up towards Eau Rouge for the first time. Jazzman ahead of Recco, ahead of Didi. Spaz there in fourth. You've got Nilsson trying to defend from Grey Wolf as they're coming through Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. And it looks like we're all through cleanly. Codlungu's now getting going. He is now pulling out of his pit box down towards the end of the pit lane, as we've got Recco trying to defend from Didi coming down towards their comb. Didi's going to be looking to the outside here. Recco's defending the inside line, as Spaz is also on the attack just behind them. But in fact, I think Recco's managed to hold on there from Didi coming through their comb, as you've got Spaz there in the background ahead of Nilsson, followed by Grey Wolf. Diamenta there in seventh has got ahead of Archie. Pete Biv in ninth ahead of Denny, followed by Torde, I Am Slow, Windsor, and Codlungu running a long way behind. Has got a lot of work to do here in this race, but Jazzman has already opened up a second of a gap here to Recco. Didi there running in third place has got Spuz pretty close on the back of him, but at this point it looks like Jazzman in cruise control already here in this race. Couldn't have got a better start if he had tried any harder there, as Archie's now looking to the inside of Diamenta, coming down towards Buon for the first time. Archie, though, I think is a little bit too far back, tugs the curve on the inside there. Pete Bibb looking to try and come around the outside here. He's also got Denny Boy on the back of him. Denny Boy a bit wide there coming out of Buon, but Torde not close enough to make anything happen just there. I Am Slow on the back of Denny, and Denny, he spins him out. So Denny there's just lost it there, coming through campus into the wall. He's going to have a bit of damage there. Oh, as Windsor there tries to take evasive action and spins it as well into the gravel. So both of those two, Denny Boy and Windsor, in the wars here on the first lap. And Cod is going to come past Windsor up into P13. So that's one driver picked off a Cod in this race. But quite a few more still to come. It's going to be actually exciting to watch Cod's progress throughout this race, see where he can get up to in this one. But it's Jazzman already with a 3-second lead as we're coming to the end of the first lap. Recco there in second ahead of Didi, followed by Spuz. You got Nilsson there in fifth ahead of Grey Wolf, who's got Diamenta there just behind him. Archie, Pete, Bibb, I Am Slow there running in the final top 10 position. You've got Torde ahead of Denny Boy. Denny Boy with the damage on that McLaren, though. That's going to be it's going to be struggling at this point in the race. Is he going to come in and get that damage fixed, or is he going to wait until he can put a full tank of fuel in and go to the end? Cod running in P13, having got ahead of Windsor, who's also got a bit of damage on the front of that car. Jazzman, though, with a very, very healthy lead at the front, and Didi and Spuz are on the back of Recco, but Didi's dropped a little bit off of the back of Recco. Spuz is now really putting the pressure on Didi for this podium spot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just looked back at that replay of Denny and I Am Slow.
Oh, we lost a driver. We've lost somebody. Who's that? It must have been a disconnection, because it wasn't somebody down towards the back. Torde's out. No, not Torde.
Jazzman's gone.
No way. No
Jazzman's
way.
disappeared.
No way. Oh my god.
Could this either be a start of mass disconnection, or
no. Imagine if he gets himself back in now and then starts. He'll start near enough a lap down if he's able to get back in.
I mean, I could do the same thing.
Yeah, you couldn't get back in either, could you?
I mean, I could try quickly.
Nah, stay here, mate. It's better.
I mean, you can get in-race commentary.
Yeah, you'd be too far behind. It wouldn't be fun for you.
No, because it's an hour and a half. I can gain a bit.
Well, the massive development right here is that Jazzman, the race leader, has disconnected on the second lap of the race, and that has now given the lead to Recco. Jazzman already had a healthy 3-second gap out the front, but it's all gone very quickly down the pan for him, and Recco Vantage now finds himself with the ascendancy. Recco took the win last week at the Hungaroring, and so far in this one, he looks like he's managed to pull out a bit of a gap here over Didi. Spuz is very close on the back of Didi right now, 0.4 of a second separating those two. You've got Nilsson a little way back, running in P4. Diamenta there in 5th has got Grey Wolf within 2 seconds, whereas we see Ryan has managed to get himself in the race. Or has he? As Archie is now looking around the outside of Grey Wolf, but has to back out, and he gets tagged in the rear by Pete Bibb. Oh, and I Am So gets him, well, has nowhere to go really, and just gets tagged as well. Pete Bibb there had nowhere to go, and unfortunately there, that was all a chain reaction, and Archie gets through it relatively unscathed compared to the others. Grey Wolf now looking down the inside of Pete Bibb into the source. I Am So just behind these as Grey Wolf there. Looks like he has got that move done, and now Pete Bibb is looking on the back of Archie here. Sorry, not Archie. I mean, I Am So. Pete Bibb, sorry, trying to get back on the rear end of I Am So. But Recco Vantage out the front has got just under a 2-second gap here to Didi. Spuz there running in 3rd place. It's going to be a hard night tonight because I'm really the only commentator. I know Ryan's out on the track, and he says he's commentating, but he's not really commentating now if he's out on track. And this is going to be a long 90 minutes for me, I tell you.
It won't. You still have me here. I mean, it's going to be.
Yeah, but you have no idea what's going on aside from what's happening from your own cockpit. Yeah, let's be real. You have literally no idea what's going on the track in regards to anything other than what's going on in your cockpit. That's all you know about.
I can still see the whole map.
Well, so could I. But Recco currently running in P1 at the moment. It's got a 1.7 second gap over Didi. You've got Spuz there running in that final podium spot. But the top three all seem to be matching each other quite well at the moment. Jazzman in the comments said, well, that is disappointing. First disconnection ever on this game. You know, you can join back, Jazzman. You can get in the session again. It's a bit late now. If you'd jumped back in straight away, you might have still been in a reasonably. You could have still won if you got in straight away.
If he gets back in now, he might still beat me.
He's not going to win now because he will now be 2 laps down as they're coming round. So he's not going to win. He might end up maybe in the top. Could end up in the top 5 if he got back in now. But he's not going to win. Recco Vantage opening up with a gap. Yeah, so Ryan will be with us very shortly. But you've got Didi there running in P2 just ahead of Spuz. Top 3 have well and truly gapped Nilsson, who's got Diamenta closing him in a little bit. I Am So currently on the back of Grey Wolf. Pete Bibb is now with these as well again. So these 3 continue to fight it out. Grey Wolf wide coming out of Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane they come. I Am So looking to the outside. Grey Wolf just covering that line off as Pete Bibb there waiting in the wings. Torde is actually reeling in these guys now. So Torde making a few gains, but these guys in front of him have got a bit of damage, and he'll be trying to capitalise on that if he can. But currently Grey Wolf still headed in this 4-car battle for P7, and these drivers are 5 seconds clear of Denny Boy running in P11 at this point. Recco Vantage continuing to open up a gap. He's got 2.7 seconds over Didi, and Jazzman is back in the session, but he is 2 laps down due to the fact that he was obviously disconnected for a couple of minutes.
Ahead of me.
Yeah, because he's completed a lap. He's completed 1 lap. Recco Vantage has completed 3. So he's 2.5 laps behind Recco Vantage, and he won't be able to move straight away either. So he's going to have to wait about 30 seconds until he can actually move.
It's a minute and 30 seconds before he can move.
As we can see Spuz looking to the inside on Didi. These two are in a battle for second place, but they're losing time to the leader, Recco. Nilsson's fallen well and truly back into the clutches of Diamenta at this point. You can see Diamenta looming low. In fact, Diamenta's got ahead of him. No, has he? No, hold on. No. Diamenta's made a mistake. He's dropped back into the clutches of Archie. That's Archie behind Diamenta. Do apologise. How did I get those mixed up? It's a big bright Bentley and a Lexus. How on earth did I get them mixed up? Nonetheless, though, Archie's looking to the inside of Diamenta, coming down towards Campus, but Diamenta's got that inside line and covers him off. But Diamenta, it says on the timing screen, he's 4 tenths behind Nilsson. So I wonder if them two had a bit of an incident, or maybe he just lost it by himself. Nonetheless, he's got work to do to bring that gap back down to what it was. Spuz is on the back of Didi, 6 tenths of a second separating them two, but they're losing time to lead at Recco as we speak. as Grey Wolf has still got that train of cars behind him. I Am So, Pete Biv and Torde, as Torde's lost about a couple of seconds to these so far on this lap. He's now 1.6 adrift of Pete Biv, and that's now going up. So Torde seems to have had a bit of a nightmare on this lap. Grey Wolf still keeping I Am So at bay but I Am So's got a good run here coming through into this final sector of the lap here. Lap 4 of the race for these guys. Is I Am Slow close enough to make a move coming into the bus stop, as Pete Bibb here looking to the outside. I Am Slow's showing his nose there to Grey Wolf into the bus stop. Goes a little bit wide onto the curb on the outside, but he's going to go around the outside here. Grey Wolf is going to have the inside for the second part of the bus stop, and great move there from I Am Slow. Grey Wolf gave him the space on the outside. Very courteous driving there from Grey Wolf. A bit too polite, if you ask me. I think he was just trying to avoid an accident, but I Am Slow nonetheless up into P7. Jazzman is coming out of the pits there. We hear from Ryan, who's out on the track as I Am So completes the move there on Grey Wolf. Pete Bibb will be eyeing up Grey Wolf in a moment's time, and Torde's already pulled up onto the back of him since dropping off on that previous lap with that little mistake. There is Jazzman just coming down the Camel straight, so he'll be looking to try and unlap himself on these runners just here, but he is now 3 laps behind. In fact, more than that. He is about he's 3 laps behind Recco Vantage, the race leader, 3.5 laps behind him. So he might, I don't know, I'll tell you what, it'd be exciting to see if he can catch him up. That would be quite a tall order, but I wouldn't bet against him managing it. But he's certainly not going to win this race, Jazzman, unfortunately for him, disconnecting there on the second lap of this race. Didi's still running in second place with Spuzz right on the back of him. These two haven't lost too much time to Recco over this lap so far. Nilsson still on the back of, in fact, Dementa's got ahead of Nilsson. And Archie's right with them as well. So Nilsson's dropped it somewhere. Nilsson is now 10 seconds off of the back of Spuzz. Dementa's now ahead of him in 4th place. Archie's right on them still, as you can see. I Am Slow has managed to pull out a bit of a gap to Grey Wolf over the course of this lap. You can see that's just over a second now between those two. Pete Bibb, Torde still just behind them. Denny Boy has been reeling in I Am So, Grey Wolf, Pete Bibb and Torde over the last few laps. Denny Boy obviously had the mistake on the first lap, which dropped him out of contention in this mid-pack battle, but he's now been making those gains. Wins are still going in P12. You've got Kodlungu running in P13. He seems to have dropped it again. He did briefly get ahead of Windsor on the first lap, but we haven't been able to check out Cod too much over the course of this race. Lightblade was saying in the comments, Cod lost to first. I don't think that's going to happen, Lightblade, unfortunately. But Jazzman very disappointed with his disconnection. Lightblade saying we may now have a competitive race on our hands. We may well, but Recco seems to have to measure over Didi, but he's not massively quicker than Didi and Spuzz, to be fair. He's not in another league from them, but he's certainly he's certainly got a slight edge over them at this point. Didi's still running in second place. Spuzz just dropped off him a little bit over the course of this lap that we're on right now. Pete Bibb has dropped off of Grey Wolf a little bit. Grey Wolf has fallen off the back of I Am Slow. I Am Slow now trying to chase after the leaders, but he's got a long way to go to get there. Grey Wolf, though, has got Pete Bibb not too far off of him. Denny Boy has managed to get ahead of Torde, so Denny are now up into the top 10. And Denny's now going to look to try and make the move on Pete Bibb coming down the Camel straight. Here we go. Denny's got a lovely run. Pete Bibb looked like he was a bit compromised coming through Radion. And here we go. Denny Boy now putting out the slipstream, looking to the inside, up towards Lacombe they come. I think this is going to be job done here for Denny. Or can Pete Bibb go late on the brakes coming into the corner? No, Denny Boy. Oh, Denny Boy's deep. Denny Boy's deep. And Pete Bibb's going to try and get the cut back. Denny can't get it done. And Pete Bibb there beautifully executing the cut back there and gets P9 back straight away as he goes wide there coming through the next right-hander, but holds onto that. And Pete Bibb there showing his experience here on this ACC game, especially in this Wednesday League here at Motive. And just wily defensive driving there from him as Archie's on the back of Nilsson here. These two battling out over 5th and 6th places. They've dropped off at the back of Dimenta. Dimenta's now got a 3-second gap to them. Spuzz is still on the back of Didi, but hasn't been able to make any impression. These two nearly 5 seconds now off of the race leader Recco at this point. Pete Bibb is has he lost out to Denny now? No, he has. He's still got. So obviously Denny had slightly moved ahead of him coming through the sector point, so it's showing Denny is ahead. But obviously Pete Bibb did take that position straight back when Denny ended up locking up coming into Lacombe. and going a little bit wide. But nonetheless, Pete Bibb is now closed up onto the back of Grey Wolf a bit. I am still continuing to pull away from these guys, but he's not really making inroads on Nilsson and Archie. He's matching Diamenta, Nilsson and Archie at the moment. Obviously those three running in 4th, 5th and 6th. I'm so now he's in clear air. He's doing decent pace compared to them, but he's not really gaining, I'd say, at this stage. But nonetheless, I'm so could be a shout for a top 4 here. I think the podium spots have been pretty much locked out by Recco, Didi and Spuzz, barring any disconnections. But I think at this point, I am so could maybe sneak himself into the top 4 if he can do this on strategy, because we know he's a good tyre saver. We saw last week at the Hungaroring, he managed to make a set of tyres last the entire race in quite hot conditions as well. So if anybody can do it, if anybody can run a decent race in a 90-minute, it could be this man here that we're watching right now. So we'll keep an eye on his progress. Spuzz still on the back of Didi, that coming down the hill towards Brussels. Archie is on the back of Nilsson, but still can't find a way through there up into P5. These two still around 2 seconds behind Diamenta, so they're not really gaining and they're not really falling off of him. I am so still 11 seconds behind Nilsson and Archie, so he's also matching those two. Denny is now right on the back of Pete Bibb again, and he still hasn't been able to make the move coming through Lacombe, as Pete Bibb is still doing what he has to do. Torde still on the back of these guys running in P10 at the moment, as Grey Wolf is in the pits to make his mandatory pit stop here at the end of lap 6. But Spuzz at the moment is still on the back of Didi, as those two batting out over 2nd and 3rd. Recco's got the gap up to 6 seconds now between himself and Didi, so he is just eking out that gap. He's just increasing the tempo and keeping it cush, keeping it nice, not making any mistakes. He's not going too ham at this point. I mean, he probably is, but he's just a little bit more than what Didi and Spuzz have at this stage in the race. Nilsson and Archie running in 5th and 6th. You've got 4 tenths currently separating those two. Right now, Denny's still really close on the back of Pete Bibb, but he's actually lost a bit of time coming through the middle sector. So, noticing a pattern here, Pete Bibb, actually, ironically, considering he's in the Lexus and Denny's in the McLaren, Pete Bibb seems really quick through the middle sector, and then Denny seems to close on him in the faster sections, in the 1st and 3rd, which is actually very counterintuitive, because for those of you who know the Lexus well will know that it's a beast on the straights and not too great through the corners. The McLaren, the complete opposite. But right now, the McLaren of Denny Boy seems to be gaining down the straights and losing hand over fist of time through the middle sector. As here we come, out of the last corner, down the start-finish straight we come. He's going to have a little look, show his nose there to Pete Bibb, but Pete Bibb's not phased one bit. Knows that there's nothing doing there. Oh, and we can see a collision between the 2nd and 3rd places. Spuzz and Didi have crashed coming into Lacombe. And where's Diamenta? Diamenta's nowhere to be seen. That was a lap car there, just making their way through the scene of the accident. But there's been a big incident there between those two, Spuzz and Didi. Have they got damage? As we can see, Didi's taking a bit longer to get going than Spuzz has. Spuzz is now coming through Brussels at this point. As you can see, one of the lap cars moved through there ahead of them, but that's not going to plan for those two. They're now miles behind Recco. Recco will be grinning from ear to ear now, because he's now got a massive gap out the front of this pack. But what a shame there for Spuzz and Didi. They've been battling it out for some time, and Didi had lost out to Spuzz. Spuzz had finally nabbed him into P2. I wonder if Didi had tried a late braking manoeuvre to try and hold onto the position, but nonetheless, those two now are nowhere to be seen. Where's Diamenta? That's the question that I'm now pondering here. Diamenta's about he's about 2 or 3 seconds behind Didi at this point, but Didi is nowhere near Spuzz, so Spuzz clearly picked himself up a bit quicker than Didi did. Now, the big question is, what damage have these guys got? Because if they've got big damage, then that might be affecting their lap times, at which point Diamenta will definitely be brought into this fight. But saying that, Diamenta's made a mistake coming to the middle sector. That gap between Didi and Diamenta is now up at nearly 4.5 seconds. But Didi is 3 seconds behind Spuzz, and Spuzz is nearly 15 seconds behind the race leader Recco Vantage, who has now been handed a bit of an easy run here, for now at least. As Denny is still on the back of Pete Bibb. but has dropped off a bit coming to the middle sector as per what we've seen over the last few laps. Archie's still on the back of Nielsen as these two are battling out over 5th and 6th though. Pardon me.
Nice work.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, it's a shame for Spas and DD there. They were showing some really good pace. I mean, when they passed me, they were nose to bumper to bumper sort of thing.
Yeah, it is a massive shame, and with the gap being not a massive amount between Recco and those two, I kind of was clinging to the hope that maybe we might be seeing a bit of strategy coming into it. But I think that's been kind of blown out of the water, at least for the time being. Whether or not we might be seeing a split, maybe. I wonder if any drivers are going to try and do the whole race on one set of tyres. 90 minutes, you'd think not, but some people might just chance it for a roll of the dice. Why not?
I mean, the one
could be a chance to nick a race win.
It would be Jazzman. With that disconnect, he will have fresh tyres on the rejoin. He might be able to pull it an 80-minute stint on one tyre.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nigh on impossible. I guess he's got the pace to make up a couple of laps on some of these drivers out here. That's the thing.
I mean, so far this lap he's pulled second and a half.
Yeah, Jazzman obviously started this race on pole position and had a couple of seconds of a lead out front at the end of the first lap, but then were disconnected on the second lap and took about 5 minutes to get himself back in the session. So he has lost a lot of ground on the leaders here.
There's a move further back. Front of Tordo.
Oh, is Denny done? Or Denny still trying to do Pete Bibb in that battle for 8th and 9th places, but he still can't find a way through. Pete Bibb's just keeping to his guns here. He's not making any mistakes. Not allowing any gap cracks to form. Denny's been trying, and I said before that the McLaren just doesn't seem to have the pace to the middle sector, which is completely against everything that I've ever thought or believed in terms of the Lexus. I've always thought it's a bit of a machine down the straights and then a bit of a combine harvester through the corners, but right now Pete Bibb seems really strong through the middle part of that, where all of the twisty, tight, slower corners are, and Pete Bibb for some reason seems like he's losing quite a lot of time to Denny coming down the straights, the long straights, in the first and third sectors. This is the part of the track where Denny Boy's rapid and is closing the gap up here to him. At the moment, it's as you were between these two, as once again through La Source, and Pete Bibb getting a much better run out of La Source, which is just giving him a little bit of breathing space there, and it's meaning that Denny's got too much work to do by the time you get to Eau Rouge and Radion. Here they come up towards it now, keeping a close eye on this. If Denny can get a good run here, he might have a chance. Oh, Pete Bibb very wide through Radion. Extremely wide. I'd be very surprised if he didn't get a track limit warning for that. Down the Camel Straight they come. Pete Bibb's got enough of a gap at the moment. Archie's dropped back to almost a second now behind Nilsson in that battle for 5th and 6th places. Recco's gap to Spuz isn't going up, so Spuz and Didi, for all their incident, they seem to have got away without damage, because they don't seem to be losing any more time to Recco. So I think they maybe just had a bit of a tap and a bit of a spin, but other than that, it's all's well. As I say that, Recco gained half a second through that middle sector, but yeah, I don't know. Difficult to know, because on the outside, on the face of it, the cars don't look too badly bruised, but you never know what could be going on underneath it as well. So it's a difficult one to be able to judge, but at this point, these two don't look like they've really had much disadvantage from that collision. In the meantime, though, Denny's still on the back of Pete Bibb and still can't find a way through. Pete, once again, rapid through this middle sector. It's got the gap to almost a second here. In fact, it's over a second now. So Pete Bibb has just extended that a little bit. John Jig in the comments says that McLaren must be close to a drive-through for track limits. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised John. John's obviously teammates with Pete Bibb for the last few seasons, but not able to make every race this season, so he's racing as a reserve for the ones he can make. He's also racing on Sunday nights for the Sprint Championship when he can as well. But obviously chiming in and supporting his mate here tonight. Pete's managed to pull out a bit of a gap here to Denny over the course of this lap, and that looks like it's actually come down a bit through the final sector again. So it just dips under a second there as they come over the line. But Recco's gap to Spaz didn't go up at all that lap. In fact, Spaz was a couple of tenths quicker, so did make some very small gains. Didi also gained a little bit of time on Spaz. Archie is within half a second of Nilsson at the moment as well. And Denny a little bit too far back at the moment, I think, to do anything coming down the Camel straight into Lacombe. So he's going to have to sit patiently and wait for his chances here. Jazzman running in P14, having missed about 5 minutes of the race, disconnected on lap 2, had to rejoin, but found himself 3 laps down on the race leader Recco Vantage. A lot of work to do for him as Recco's lost it. Oh, Recco has a bit of a spin there coming into the final sector. Who was that in front of him? He was just coming round to put a lap on some traffic.
A big grey wolf that he was coming off.
Grey Wolf. Yeah, it was great. It was Grey Wolf. He was coming to lap, and you can see there's another driver who's just coming round to trying to unlap himself on him, but in the end, Jazzman. Who's the other one behind Jazzman?
There shouldn't be anyone behind Jazzman.
Yeah, but just Jazzman there, just in front of Recco. So Recco, obviously, with that mistake, he got a little bit, just seemed to be losing the back end as they were coming into that final sector there. We just flicked to him. The gap down to 12 seconds, so he lost about 3 seconds there. I mean, Grey Wolf, a very clean, fair driver. I don't think it was Grey Wolf's mistake. I think Recco just got a bit distracted, and maybe it was the fact that Jazzman was closing in on him as well. Potentially, that was just playing on his mind a bit. Nonetheless, though, Jazzman has got ahead of Recco and is now pulling away from him. In fact, he's now done Grey Wolf, so Jazzman continuing to really pump in the laps here. But Recco Vantage has just got to play it cool here. He just needs to not get ahead of himself. I know it's easily done. You can see Jazzman flying around the track and just pumping in the lap times. Some silly lap times here from Jazzman, but ultimately Recco doesn't need to fight him. He just needs to drive his own race here. I know it's easier said than done, but he just needs to keep calm, because if he tries to race Jazzman, he could end up binning it into the wall, and then he could lose this race win, and that is going to hurt his championship, and that is the last thing that he needs here in this race. He needs consistent points, because we don't know, say for example, if Jazzman is able to make the remaining races in this season, Recco needs to bag these points, and he needs to make these count. But Spaz running in P2, 12 seconds behind Recco at this point. Doesn't look like Recco's picked up any damage. Spaz obviously seemed to have got away with that contact with Didi quite lightly. So did Didi, to be fair, both of them with minimal damage on the cars, clearly not affecting the performance very much at all. Archie still on the back of Nilsson running in. These guys battling it out over P5 and P6. Denny boy still hasn't been able to get ahead of Pete. Maybe he's been on the back of him now for about 10 laps, and he has not found a way through. He's been trying his absolute damnedest, but no opportunities seem to have opened up at this point. Archie still on the back of Nilsson here in this battle for P5 and 6. Didi's got a gap at 3 seconds behind Spaz. Spaz has dropped off of Recco a bit over this lap. The gap went up to about 12.5 seconds through the middle sector. We'll keep an eye on it as Spaz comes over the line here to complete lap 12 of the race. So Spaz actually gained 3 tenths on Recco through the final sector. Spaz seems quick through the final sector. Recco's very quick through the middle. But a gap 12 seconds between the top two at the moment, and Didi matching these as well. So I would say it's not over for the race win for Spaz and Didi for sure. Recco's not got comfort out the front. He's not in splendid isolation, let's say that. as there's Recco just putting a lap there on a Bentley. That's Jazzman. That is Jazzman. Now, has Jazzman got a problem here? Because Jazzman was just coasting off of the throttle there. I wonder if Jazzman's got a problem. Because to me, he looks like he's limping around at the moment. I'm not quite sure what has happened here. But yeah, he does not seem to be moving around at the pace that we're used to seeing from him. Riding on board now, you can hear that he's not pushing it, as he's just laying off of Recco a bit here. The gap going up to 3.5 now. And yeah, Jazzman is certainly not giving it full beans, that's for sure. 4 seconds the gap goes up to. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Obviously, Jazzman, for those of you who are tuning in, seeing Jazzman down in P14 in the race, thinking, what on earth's happened? Well, he disconnected on the second lap of the race. He started on pole. He'd opened up a couple of seconds of a lead, and then lap 2, boom, gone. Disconnected from the race. It took him about 5 minutes to get back in the session, and was 3 laps down on Recco Vantage at the time that he came out. He's then come round and unlapped himself on Recco, and now he seems to have had a bit of a problem of some sort. We're not sure what, but he is now 5.5 seconds behind Recco on the track. But he seems to have got on top of whatever it was, so he seems to have fixed the issue and seems to be pushing it. He seems to be giving it some now. So yeah, not 100% what's gone on there, but nonetheless, Recco Vantage, your race leader, has got a 12-second gap at the moment over Spaz. Didi's still running in P3, 4 seconds behind Spaz at the moment. You've got Nilsson, who's actually closed in on Dimenta. Dimenta now having to defend as he pushes Nilsson to the edge of the track there. Nilsson all over the marbles on the exit of Blanchimont. Jazzman is in the pit, so that explains really why he was going slow. He's obviously got some kind of damage on the car. Nilsson has now got Archie looking to his inside into the bus stop chicane, but Archie's a little bit too far back, and Dimenta weathers that storm and holds on there. But Nilsson was looking pretty racy through that final sector. But still Dimenta running in P4 at the moment. And I'm so used to commentating with Ryan that it's in the first few weeks, mate, right, I've had probably about 3 hiccups over the course of the first 3 weeks of racing. In this race alone, I've already had 3 hiccups. Always Denny coming through bus stop there, just struggling to get a hold of it. But my hiccups come from talking too much. And it's an issue that I don't usually have when Ryan's in the box with me, but when I'm commentating by myself, it's an issue that is constantly rearing its ugly head. As Denny's now dropped to about a second off of the back of Pete Bibb. Lightbits has got a feeling that it's for Jazzman. Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know really why Jazzman was going so slow and struggling on that last lap, but clearly he had some kind of issue, and he has come in to get that damage fixed, whatever it is. But he can come and make his mandatory pit stop now if he wants. You know, it's obviously you've got to make it at some point between the start and the end of the race. 90 minutes in total, so he's clearly making it now. But he seems to have been in that box for a long time.
Yeah, he went into the pit lane and then returned to the garage.
So he's maybe changing the setup a bit or something. He's maybe making some alterations, but yeah, I don't know. He had some blistering pace out of the pits. He was flying around. He's saying wasn't going to make up 2 laps on the field. Was 18 seconds, but just too far back. A shame. Was really looking forward to this race. It is a massive shame, Jazzman. I was obviously you had really strong pace. I think you would have probably dominated it tonight, to be fair. Gutting obviously for yourself, and shame we can see you delivering on that potential. But we currently got Recco leading this race, and he's got about it's been a 12-second gap approximately for the last few laps. Let's see if Spaz has managed to make any inroads on that gap. No, in fact, Recco's pulled out a bit more over the last lap. So Recco's now got it over 13 seconds here, and is looking more and more in control of this race as it goes on. Didi keeping the gap to Spaz at around 3 seconds. Obviously, those two had a bit of a collision earlier on, and that gap is not going up, and it's not really going down either. It's just kind of hanging it around the same. You've got Denny Boy still on the back of Pete Bibb, and he's actually really close here coming into the bus stop. This might be Denny's best chance, as Pete Bibb really got onto that curb there coming through the Blanchimont. Down towards the bus stop we come. Denny Boy looking to the inside, showing his nose, but not close enough. Pete Bibb there covering that line, and there's no way through there for Denny in that situation. But coming out of the last corner, what can Denny do down the start-finish straight? I don't think he's got a good enough exit there. Pete Bibb holds on for the time being, but Denny is so close to him through this part of the track this time around, and may have a good chance. If he can get a good run coming through Eau Rouge and Radion, he might be able to set him up coming down the Kemmel Straight. In fact, he's got a good run out of the source. Pete Bibb is a little bit compromised there. But we're coming up to Eau Rouge. You can't pass into Eau Rouge realistically. Denny putting out the system, trying to put alongside. He's not going to be able to. Tucks in for the time being. Up Eau Rouge we come. Now through Radion. Pete Bibb there looked like he was a little bit wide. Denny, though, riding over that curve a little bit down that Kemmel Straight. Now we come, and Denny's in that slipstream. Can he get enough overspeed? Can he make the use of that toe? Down towards Lacombe we come. Pete Bibb is going to, I think, just hold on. Lacombe is going to come just in time for that Lexus, and the McLaren powerless to move past at the moment. But Denny boy creeping closer and closer and closer. That was his best chance of getting ahead of Pete Bibb for P8. Diamenta still running in P4. Is got Nilsson now right up his chuff here as they're coming through the middle sector. Diamenta, big slide there, massive bit of oversteer as he's still trying to correct it. He's gone off, he's gone wide, and Nilsson swoops through there up into 4th place. Archie's going to come around the outside there, and it's going to take P5 as well. So Diamenta losing 2 places in the space of about 200 metres there. And he's going to be kicking himself with that one. Just a little mistake as they came through Campus Corner, overcorrected the car. Looked like he'd saved it, and then got another bit of snap oversteer, the suspension wobbling all over the place, and he's down to P6 here. Nilsson up into P4, Archie into 5th. As Denny boy is currently, he's currently in 9th, still on the back of Pete Bibb, 7/10 of a second, currently separating those two. Windsor's been passed by Cod. Cod has now got the gap up to a second to Windsor. I think Cod was behind Windsor before until recently.
Cod and Windsor have been switching place. They've, I think Cod's having a little bit of an issue and dropping back a little bit.
Yeah, so Cod Lungu not having the night at all. He obviously started from the pit lane, didn't ready up in time at the start. So it's been a tricky night so far for Cod Lungu, but nonetheless running in P11, he'll get some decent points for his troubles here so far, as Denny is in the pits, so he'll be coming in to make his mandatory pit stop by the looks of it here at the end of lap 15. So yeah, he's going to be, I guess, getting it done and out of the way. Grey Wolf is also the other driver to have done his pit stop already, but everybody else has obviously still got theirs to do. So Nilsson's got a gap of just over a second to Archie. Diamenta still keeping these two in sight at the moment. Obviously made his mistake on that a couple of laps ago and ended up surrendering the positions to those two. But I would say at this point that Spuzz and Didi are not out of the battle for the win here. 16 seconds covers the top 3 drivers, but we're nearly 40 minutes into the race, and well, it's about 18 seconds now to be fair, but these two, Spuzz and Didi, did lose about 10 seconds when they crashed into each other. If it wasn't for that, then yeah, it'd be a bit closer, and we don't know what strategy these guys are on either. You know, Spuzz and Didi are saving tyres, or they're planning it, or maybe they've put more fuel in, perhaps they've full tanked it. You could probably 3/4 tank it, maybe even 2/3 each way, and make it to the end. So you know, you could save yourself maybe half a second a lap by putting a bit less fuel in. So we don't know if anybody's maybe deployed that tactic. So that could be in play. We just don't know at this point. But Recco looking like he's in the pits again. Oh, Grey Wolf's in the pits again. Oh wow, why? He's already been in. I wonder if it's his.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, I wonder if it's his. I wonder if Grey Wolf was saying in the Discord earlier in the week that he's struggling a bit with an issue with his legs. So I don't know whether or not this is maybe that issue popping up again. Hopefully it isn't. Well, I think crossing our fingers that isn't the problem here. But nonetheless, he is into the pits again. Yeah, Diamenta in the pits making his mandatory stop. Cod, that's his mandatory as well. Obviously, Denny Boy's already done his, so Denny Boy, Cod making their mandatory pit stops. Diamenta also coming in. He's coming into the box right now. But the big question here is Grey Wolf. Is he out of the race, or is he just coming in for an additional stop? Has he picked up a bit of damage, or maybe the tyres going off a bit? We're going to have to wait and see on this one. As Nilsson is within a second of Archie here in his battle for 4th place. Diamenta obviously in that battle as well, but he's in the pits making his pit stop. So Grey Wolf, it says that he's made his stop, so he's now good to go. He should, if he is continuing, he should be, obviously he's made his pit stop already in this race, but has he retired the car? Has he had to bring it in and call it a day? Keeping an eye on the YouTube stream, keeping an eye on the Discord to see if we have any word yet on whether or not Grey Wolf is going to be carrying on in this race. But Nilsson still on the back of Archie right now as these two battle out with 4th and 5th. And in fact, Archie's pulled out a bit of a gap to Nilsson over the course of this lap. So Nilsson might have made a mistake there coming to the middle sector. And that might be a bit of a spurring on there for Diamenta as he now knows that he can push it a little bit more, maybe get in between and possibly get ahead of both of them by the time obviously Archie and Nilsson come in and make their pit stops. Grey Wolf has left the pits, so he's continuing on. So he's not calling it a day. Maybe it was a bit of damage on the car which was preventing him from
Nilsson's
staying out.
off.
Oh, Nilsson's off. Oh yeah, he is. He's coming through Blanchimont. That's going to give Archie a lot of breathing space now, and Diamenta will almost definitely come out ahead of Nilsson at this point. Nilsson coming through the bus stop. Is he going to come into the pits now? He seems to be struggling a bit. He is coming into the pits, saving his blushes a little bit there.
DD's in as well.
Falling apart. You're right, yeah, Didi coming in. DDTKU maybe trying to get the jump on Spuz. Those two running in P2 and 3. They're a little way off of Recco, but the slightest little mistake from Recco, that could bring either of these guys back into this race. This is far from over at this point. But Recco Vantage currently doing everything right here tonight at Spa. Obviously, won last week at the Hungaroring. That was his first race of the season. Missed the opening round of the season at Alton Park. So he's known from the get-go that he's got quite a bit of catch-up to play here in this one. But he's been very, very strong. He's been just cracking on with the job over the last couple of weeks. Hasn't let the points deficit really get to his head too much. He's been doing his own thing, and right now has got a comfortable gap out the front. Didi in the pits, Nilsson in the pits. Obviously Nilsson came in before Didi. Didi's quite some way ahead of him. Windsor in the pits now as well, making his mandatory pit stop. So it's just the top 6 now who are still going to come in to make their stop. And the rest of them have all now been in.
Denny Boy's off in front of me.
Oh, Denny Boy's got big damage. He's got quite a hefty amount of front end damage there. He already had a bit before, but I think he's picked up some more here.
He clobbered the wall in front of me.
Yeah, that would make a bit of sense there. Thing is, the difficult thing for Denny Boy is he's already made his pit stop, so he can't even come in and get a little bit of damage repaired whilst he's at it. He's got to come in and serve a separate pit stop. Yeah, he's got to come in and serve a separate pit stop. He can't even do the. He can't even get the damage repaired at the same time. As Codlinga and Windsor in the pits at the moment. They're obviously still making their pit stops at this point. Top 6 still yet to come in. Recco, Spuz, Archie, I Am So, Pete Biv and Torde. Pete Biv.
And I think that Codlinga come out of the pit lane and lost it. And he returned to the pit lane.
Oh, did he? Cold tyres, maybe catching out Cod. Oh, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere fast at this point. Grey Wolf might come round to take P12 soon if Codlinga doesn't get his skates on. Windsor's still in the pit box. He's not moving by the looks of it either. Oh, he's just off the jacks now, actually. So it looks like he's on his way.
I should only be 1 lap behind Grey Wolf or Todd Lingen.
Yeah, so Windsor coming up to Radion, and away he goes once again. We've got JR in the comments saying, come on, Diddy, shout out to Colin Ryan. Welcome, JR, good to see you. JR used to race with us here in the ACC leagues here at Motive. He was second in the championship for the GT3s on a Sunday for, I think, our third season of the championship to Kurt Hodgson. He was second to Kurt Hodgson. Them two had an absolutely amazing battle throughout the season. As we see Windsor there just losing out to one of the Lexuses, which would be Pete Bibb there. But yeah, JR came second in the GT3s a few seasons ago, and he races on PC nowadays, but still supports us when he can. Always welcome here on the channel, always a supporter. Also, we used to hang out quite a bit on Project Cars 2 back in the old days, the good old days. Me and Ryan have been doing some of that lately, actually. Interestingly, that's where I first met JR, interestingly. Similar scenario to what we've been doing lately, but COD nonetheless in the pits at this point. And Reco Vantage, the race leader, is now coming in, but JR obviously getting behind his Run DJC boys, COD and Ryan. And it's not been a good night for Run DJC tonight, but DD currently doing a very strong job here. Jazzman saying, thanks for letting me race tonight. I'll be back next week for sure. Have a good stream. Thank you, mate. Cheers. And unlucky with the disconnect tonight, but yeah, I'm sure you'll be a force to be reckoned with if you return next week here. I don't know where we'll be next week actually just yet. I haven't checked the schedule lately. So is it where?
I don't know. Is it Germany or something?
Yeah, Nürburgring. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. As we see Reco now, I think he's still yet to stop in his box, so he's just coming through the second part of the pit lane. Spuzz now assumes the race lead. Archie currently running in second place, but obviously that will change once all the pit stops are said and done. I am so continuing on his way. Pete Vibb into the pits, so Pete Vibb now making his mandatory pit stop here at the end of what is lap 19 for him. Torday continuing on his way, but two of the top 6, 2 of the remaining 6 to not pit. Actually, no, barring Ryan, who's also yet to pit. Yeah. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah, Danny Boy's race has gone completely to it's gone down the toilet, really, to be fair. He was in a great battle with Pete Bibb before, but I don't think he's going to be in a battle with Pete Bibb by the time Pete Bibb comes out. I think that Pete Bibb's going to clear him by quite some way. Reco's come out of the pits. Nonetheless, up the hill he comes. He's now coming out in some clean air, and he should be in the race lead, barring any monumental incidents. But Spuzz, the current race leader, out on track now. What's the gap between Reco and Didi? That's going to be an interesting one, because we know that Didi was about 15-20 seconds off of the back of Reco before he came in. Reco just went through the comb.
If Danny Boy had any effect on Reco there, because Reco seemed like he was coming out the pit lane as I was going past.
Yeah,
you
could have a point there. I mean, I'm not 100% sure at the moment. I'll tell you one thing. Didi's gap to Reco is about the same as what it was before they came in, before the pit window. 18 seconds between Reco and Didi. Didi and net third. Obviously, we're expecting Spuzz to come out in second in between Reco and Didi. All of these three will jump Archie, Imstow and Torday, who are currently running in second, third and fourth still yet to make their pit stops. But yeah, could have been maybe a bit of a impeding there from Denny, as Denny's race has gone really, it's literally just fallen apart in the last few laps. He was having a good battle with Pete Bibb in the early stages, but he's made a few mistakes, picked up some damage, and it's all gone horribly wrong there for him. But yeah, right now Reco is 10 seconds behind Torday. We'll keep an eye on the gap between Reco and Didi, because that will definitely be one to watch, especially if Reco's got damage, but I don't think he should. As far as we know, I think it was just a case of avoiding it was just a case of having to avoid Denny. No damage, no incident, no contact. Not sure yet at this stage, but I am still nonetheless into the pits. I was just asking Ryan, there wasn't any contact between Recco and Denny, was there?
I don't know. Danny was 10 seconds behind me, and then all I saw was a yellow flag, and Danny just dropping time.
Fair play.
I don't know if it was either Recco or it might have been Codalunga, because Codalunga's only 35 seconds behind me.
Rightio. Well, we've got Recco currently is just on the back of I think that's Torde here. Is it Torde? It can't be Torde. No, it's not Torde. That's Torde in the pits actually. Recco is just putting a lap there on a McLaren, so that couldn't be Torde. It's actually Denny. So yeah, that would make sense. But Recco now into some clean air. I am so in the pits. So it wasn't Torde in the pits, it was I am so. I do apologise.
Oh, someone spun. I think that would be Nilsson.
Oh, Nilsson's just, completely lost it. That's given Diamenta a bit of a gap here. These two will come out in 6th and 7th, I believe. But Nilsson, well, he might not. Well, he'll come out ahead of I am so. As I am so, I think has just come out of his box now. Actually, it might be quite close here between I am so and Nilsson. In fact, I am so will probably slot out. In fact, could even come out ahead of Diamenta here. It's going to be close, actually. I tell you what. I am so has come out ahead of Diamenta and Nilsson. So I am so once again playing it brilliantly in the pit stops, and it's come out in P6 ahead of Diamenta. So excellent stuff.
In the pit lane.
Yeah, he is. So Spuzz and Torde, the only drivers still yet to make their pit stops at this point. Recco obviously a net race leader. Spuzz just staying out there for as long as he can, I think, trying to keep Recco guessing maybe. Again, Recco pitting bang in the middle of the race this week. So I wonder maybe if Spuzz has full tanked it maybe. In which case he'd have had to put he might have to put less fuel in, which might give him a little bit of an edge at the end. Not necessarily an edge at the end, but he'll gain time during the pit window. If he doesn't have to put as much fuel in as Recco, then he will obviously benefit. I think that's how it works. Nonetheless, Archie in the pits, he's still yet to stop in his box, but he will be stopping in that box shortly as we see Denny into the pits. And Denny's coming in to fix some damage, I think, because he's been in and out of that pit stop like no tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame, obviously, for Jazzman leaving there, because we're now seeing some issues come along, which could have gave him a good chance of a P7 maybe.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things. I suppose it's the thing is, if he'd joined straight away, I reckon he could have even maybe still won the race. That's the thing. If he'd jumped in straight away after his disconnect, but I don't know if his connection was playing up or if he just didn't realise that he could join back. But nonetheless, what's done is done. You know, it's done now. It is what it is. Massive shame there for him. Nonetheless, Spuzz in the pits here coming at the end of lap 22 it is. So where is Recco going to come out? That's the question now, because Recco has been running in a net P1 the entire race. Spuzz was about maybe 12, 13, 14, 15 seconds, something like that. Somewhere between 10 and 15 seconds behind Recco when the pit window started. But we believe that Recco is putting quite a bit of fuel. We're not sure how much fuel Spuzz is going to need to put in. So that could play a bit of a factor here. If Spuzz has to put less fuel in than Recco, then that will be an advantage for him. He's still yet to stop in his box at the moment. Recco's just coming through the final sector. But Spuzz is coming through the second part of the pit lane. Here he is, just coming through. He's coming towards his box now. Recco is coming down towards the bus stop. So I think Recco will definitely come out ahead of Spuzz. Spuzz's pit box seems like it's right at the end of the pit lane. With Recco a bit deep through the bus stop, he comes out of the bus stop now. Spuzz is in that box, probably putting a bit of fuel in. But what's the gap going to be once Spuzz emerges? Recco coming through last source. Spuzz still yet to move. Recco coming down on the run between La Source and Eau Rouge. Has Spaz moved yet? No, he hasn't. He's still sat in the box. So Reco Vantage comes through Eau Rouge and takes the lead once again here. Spaz might lose out to Didi here. Where's Didi? Didi's just coming out of La Source. So that could be quite close actually. No, Spaz is off the limiter and he's away. So Spaz does come out quite a little way ahead of Didi. But quite some way behind Reco. Your race leader now, Torde, and great to see Torde leading a race. Obviously, still get to pit, but out there at the moment, enjoying himself here in Spa, and he's got the race leader Reco reeling him in. Reco obviously has already been into the pit, so he's got the net lead. He's the favourite to win this race at this stage, but Torde currently your leader on the track. And the gap between Reco and Spa's 16 seconds, so I think Reco's got this in hand, unless he makes a mistake. Oh, has he? Oh, yeah, he's lost it just coming out of turn 11 into Pouhon. Obviously, turn 11 is actually called No Name. So people who hear it and they think I'm being lazy or they think that I'm just a dunce, I'm actually not. It is actually called No Name. It's like an in thing. Like anyone who's like an avid motorsport fan will know that turn 11 at Spa is called No Name. It literally has no name. There's Reco Vantage there, just putting a lap on Windsor. He's got ahead of Torde for the lead, so Reco Vantage, not just the net race leader, he is now the actual race leader at Torde, enjoying the privilege of being able to lead a lap tonight here at Spa, and he has currently kept himself in very good stead over the course of this race. So the gap between Reco and Spa is staying at around 16 seconds. Barring any big mistakes from Reco, he should have this race done and dusted, but never say never. As Pete Bibb is within 2 seconds of Nilsson. Nilsson, since the pit stops, has had a bit of a scruffy race. He's dropped well off at the back of Diamenta and could be vulnerable to Pete Bibb shortly. Diamenta trying to chase down I Am Stowe, who managed to jump these guys in the pit stops. Once again, I Am Stowe putting off a bit of a masterstroke in the pits, but I think he might not have changed tyres. He did this last week at Hungary. In a 1 hour race, it's all well and good, but in an hour and a half race, I think maybe I Am Stowe is pushing his luck a little bit here. But who knows? Who knows what might transpire here? Oh, what's happened to Diamenta here? Diamenta has made a mistake. Diamenta's had an off somewhere, and he's lost out now to Nilsson and Pete Bibb, so I didn't see what happened there, but he's got damage on the front of that car. And Diamenta is now well behind. So that's given I Am Stowe a bit of impetus there to finish in P6. Torde, the last driver in this race to come in and make his mandatory pit stop. But massive news there for Diamenta, who loses 3 places, or 2 places, should I say. He was trying to reel in I Am Stowe, but he's made a mistake there. A big mistake at that, and he's struggling now at this stage. So that has gone catastrophically there for him. Spaz has gained about a second on Reco over the course of his lap. It was 16.8 before. It's now 16.0, so Spaz is making little gains on Reco. We're probably going to have 14 laps maybe. 13 or 14 laps from this moment onwards. So 16, so I mean, if he gains a second a lap from now to the end of the race, he's going to be right on it by the time we get to the end. But having said that, Reco has actually gained a bit on this lap so far, and it's now nearly 17 seconds. So just as it swings one way, it then swings back the other way. Like a seesaw or a pendulum, it's just, you never know which way it's going to go. But Pete Bibb, currently running in P7, has got the gap down to 1.6 here to Nilsson. That could be one to watch at this point. Codlinger in the pits. I don't think he's going to be able to achieve much in there. The race is just kind of settling down a bit now. There's not really too much going on at this point. It's just things are just calming down a bit. Everyone's a bit spread out, and Pete Bibb's chipping away at the gap to Nilsson, actually. Battle for 6th and 7th. This could be one to watch in a minute. Oh, it's Pete. Oh, Pete goes deep into the bus stop, and he's lost it. He spun it there coming to the bus stop. That's going to give Nilsson a bit of space here. And Pete struggling to get it round again. He loses it on the grass, and that's going to give Dimenta P7, I think, as Dimenta moves through. So Pete Bibb there struggling massively coming through the bus stop chicane, and he is down to P8 here in this race. What a shame.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a shame for some of the drivers. I mean, one that struggled. The car just doesn't feel right. One doesn't have any damage. Just made a move on iron slow coming up to the bus stop, and as I come around the corner, I just lost it and got severe damage on the front end.
I wonder what it is. I mean, you were well quick last season.
Yeah, I know. Wow, I just absolutely rinsed the pit stop box and made it perfect.
Nah.
I've always been really conservative going into the box, and somehow I just threw it in and got it perfect. But no, I was making moves to go up towards Denny and Gray, and now I'm a lap behind them.
Yeah, and Denny Boy's had a nightmare of a night himself. He's currently P12. He was battling Pete Bibb in the early stages. Far cry from where he is now, to be honest. But yeah, it's gone catastrophically wrong for him. There's no other word for it. Didi is still within striking distance of Spurs. That gap is 6.6. It's coming down a bit, actually, between second and third. And that's one that we don't want to see boiling over. We obviously saw those two coming together earlier. Recco is extending that gap to Spurs. That's now over 17 seconds, getting on for 18 seconds between those two. Dear me. Pardon me, sorry.
I'm definitely not at my standard driving rate, so there's no championship in me.
Fancy retiring and becoming a commentator?
You just want me to be a commentator?
Yeah, of course I do.
I'll make them here and their appearance, but I think commentary is going to be the way to go at the moment.
I've absolutely killed my voice.
Until the pedals come back, and once the pedals come back, I'll be racing a bit more competitively, hopefully.
Mate, I've been so upset tonight, having to commentate by myself.
You lean on me when we commentate.
It's killed my voice, because the thing is, when there's something exciting going on, I can get like fully, I can get properly excited, and I know that I can rest my voice after I've gone through it, because I know that you can just take over. Whereas when you're not here, I have to kind of like pace myself, and it's difficult.
I mean, we've got 27 minutes to go, mate. You haven't got far.
I've just gone to sit on the bed literally about a couple of minutes ago. I'm lying back on the bed, chilling out. Yeah, I heard about somebody did that.
English?
Didn't somebody that we know end up doing that?
No.
I'm sure they did.
No.
Somebody that we know did a commentary on a 2-hour race, and he said that he fell asleep during it, and they could actually hear him snoring on the stream.
I don't even know that was.
I'll give you a clue. Cardalungu? Not card.
Ah!
Not card. Not card, but you know.
Really?
Yeah. A certain somebody. Yeah. Anyway. Didi's got the gap at 7 seconds here to Spuzz. Pete Bibb's got the gap at 2 seconds to Dimenta. Other than that, at the moment, I may just emulate a certain somebody over the next 25 minutes of this race. Who knows?
It's alright, if there's anything intense, it'll only be me crashing. Andy, how many laps am I off of Denny?
You're 2 laps behind him.
Damn it.
At this rate, he might retire though.
No, I'm finishing this race.
I mean, Denny. I wonder where Jazzman would have got to if he'd actually persevered. Probably like.
If Jazzman was still here, he would have.
P10.
Oh, I've spun it!
Oh no! Right. Keep it out of the wall. Keep it out of the wall. Oh, he's had to do a 3-point.
Let's not get in the way of Archie. There you go.
Here we are then, riding on board with Ryan Ruby, last season's contender in the races and GT4 champion from the multi-class series a couple of seasons ago. As we're coming into the last source, he's right on the back of Archie. Can he unlap himself here? As it seems like his steering's a little bit off. Have you got that steering? I think it's a steering ratio, mate.
No, you just steer like that when you're over there.
It doesn't look like the steering ratio's 100%. Here we go. Anyway, Ryan's going to make a move on Archie. He's going to breeze past him, coming up Radion, and down the Camel Straight we come. Lovely move from Ryan, but he is 3 laps down on Archie, so not as impressive as we'd like it to be. He's also got a lot fresher tyres, and he's running a lot less fuel.
Oh, this could play into my hands.
He's got a lot less fuel on that.
Denny boy's just been given a drive through.
He's got a lot less fuel and he's running a lot of fresher tyres. So in fact, that's not actually really that impressive, if I'm perfectly honest.
And like I was just saying, this could play into my hand here. Denny boy's just been given a drive through.
I don't think you're going to catch him.
If I can drive consistently, not spin, I'm pulling like a second, 2 seconds a lap.
I don't know, it just seems a little bit maybe ambitious.
You never know.
Yeah, that's true. You just never can tell.
I realised what my issue was last lap.
What's that?
I clicked into 6th gear and then dropped down to 5th gear and then just overspun.
Oh dear. Oh, Recco wide coming out of turn 9. Blimey.
Alright, now I've got to push. He's into the pit lane.
So you're now within 2 laps of him. The battle for the P12 is on here. Ryan Ruby on a bit of a charge here. Seeing if he can reel in Denny boy, but unless Danny Boy retires, I don't think it's going to be on.
These long endurance races will really get me back into the flow of Assetto Corsa.
Pete Bibbs managed to gap Diamenta a little bit. The gap's now over 2 seconds between those two. It's actually extending. Pete Bibb gained another nearly a second on that last lap, so he's now picking it up a bit. Diamenta doesn't seem to have an answer for him. These two are a long way behind Nilsson running in P6. They've all had their fair share of mistakes in this mid-pack. I am slow. Kind of the winner of this mid-pack battle, if you like. Archie, the best of the rest. Running all by himself, really. And then I am slow has won that mid-pack battle with Nilsson, Pete Bibb, Diamenta. Torde wasn't quite able to keep with them. Windsor, Grey Wolf. Fair play to these guys. Kept going. Haven't given up, especially Grey Wolf. I mean, you've got to take your hat off to Grey Wolf tonight. You know, he said in the Discord server, he's got a physical problem, which I must admit, I'm not particularly au fait with what it was he was talking about, but, you know, to be able to push through the pain barrier and to grit your teeth and get on with it, you know, when you're not at your best, you're not 100%, you've got to respect that. You really have got to rate that. And, you know, hopefully he's finding ways to manage it. But I've got to say, well done to Grey Wolf tonight. You've got my utmost respect for hour and 10 minutes we've gone so far, 20 minutes left. If he can make it to the end, you've got to give him, I'd say, a round of applause. Honestly. If it was up to me, I'd give him a medal. But, right now, 30 seconds currently separating the top three. You got Recco leading by 20 seconds. Didi within 10 seconds of Spuzz at the moment. Pete Bibbs gapped Diamenta by just over 3 seconds now. To anybody watching right now, hope you're enjoying the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed the early stages when it was a little bit more exciting. Yeah, if you want to join the Motive Racing Leagues, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. Join the Discord, get involved in our leagues on ACC and Project Cars 2. Also got an F1 league starting up soon, which is full. But we might set up another tier maybe.
Oh, Grey Wolf's crashed.
Oh no, Grey Wolf's into the pits. Oh, is he going to keep it going to the end though? Oh, I hope he does, but I don't think he is. I can see him on the game chat there. It sounds like he might have left his party chat or whatever, I don't know. It'd be a shame if he's thrown in the towel, but you can't blame him. I know he suffers quite a bit. So fair play to him for sticking it out for as long as he has, especially when the race is a bit longer. Yeah, he has left the server. Unfortunately, Grey Wolf is out here, so he has called it a day. with 16 minutes on the clock. But he has racked up some decent mileage tonight, and he can definitely leave Spa with his head held high after tonight's showing.
And he can leave with points because he done 3/4 of the race.
That's very true. That's a very good point. The Diamenta's brought the gap down to Pete Viv a little bit. That's now under 3 seconds between those two. It had gone up to 3.4 briefly, so Diamenta's chipped away a little bit of that gain. Has he got what it takes? I think has he got what it? Yeah, has he got what it takes to take the fight to him?
Definitely getting back into my flow. Starting to show some extra speed now. Actually, I'm going to set us 2 seconds faster lap than DD.
Ryan's fastest up at this race so far, a 2:21.1. Coming out of the last corner, he's well up on his previous best here. As he comes up towards the line, it's a 2:20.8 there from Ryan. Smashes his previous best lap time, and he really is starting to get back into the swing of ACC here. And it's great to see Ryan finally.
I'm also only a lap away from Denny.
It's great to see Ryan finally rekindling some of the talent which he lost playing on Project Cars 2 over the last month or so.
Denny's in the pit lane again.
Oh no. I reckon he might get him. As Ryan there just unlapping himself on Windsor. Next up for him is Didi, 20 seconds up the road. I'll tell you what, here's a test of your pace, mate. If you can if you can close in on Didi, the gap's 20.6. I'll know you're definitely back to your best if you can start closing that gap.
Well, about 2 laps ago it was 22.4.
So it looks like Ryan is starting to bring that gap down to DDTKU. Maybe to catch him and pass him might be a bit of a task, but if he can bring that gap down a lot, then it will show that Ryan's definitely getting back into the flow of things here on ACC. Recently started playing Project Cars 2 again, and unfortunately lost all of his talent due to that, and obviously his pedal is also deciding to kick the bucket. But it seems he's got those problems sorted now.
Just wonder if Denny's done a pit stop of damage and see where he'll come out compared to me.
Yeah, let's have a quick little look at Denny and see what he's up to here. Right, so he's sat in the pit stop at the moment, so let's see, Ryan just coming through the bus stop chicane. Then he's still sat in the pit box at the moment. Still hasn't moved just yet. There's Ryan coming over the start-finish line. Denny's on his way now, but Ryan's coming down towards Eau Rouge. I think Ryan's going to get him here, you know. Denny just coming out of the pit lane. Yep, there goes Ryan. There is Denny just coming out of the pit lane now. So Ryan Ruby has pulled off the unthink. Oh no, are you a lap down still on him?
No, I'm a lap ahead of him.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I've jumped him.
Oh my goodness, Ryan Ruby has played off the unthinkable here. Denny boy having the most torrid end to this race you could possibly imagine, and Ryan Ruby's just been plugging away and has managed to get P11 here in this race. Next up for him is Windsor, who we believe is about 2 laps ahead, but
like you said, you wanted me to catch up to DD.
Yeah.
Well, the last lap I've gained 3 seconds on him. I've just been given a drive-through.
Oh, that's why you gained so much time on him.
No, I just didn't brake enough into the corner.
Yeah, you must have had 3 warnings before that, though.
Yeah, I got the first two on the first lap because I didn't have any grip. And then got one for when I ran wide and then eventually spun.
So there he is, just trying to justify it there, but Ryan Ruby there, unfortunately getting a drive-through awarded for cheating. So you have to come in.
I'm still gaining on Didi though.
Cutting the track.
If I didn't have the stop and go at the drive-through, I would have probably caught up to Didi.
Oh, he's lost it! No! Oh, he's got rear end damage! Oh, Ryan Ruby stacked it. Drive through. Damage on the rear end. It's all gone Pete Tong. Oh, be careful! Wind's coming around. Okay, it's alright. It's alright. It's all good. No need to panic. It's all fine. And Denny Boy's going to take his P11 back. He's going to say thank you very much indeed.
Goodbye, Denny. Oh, it was going so well.
Oh, mate.
Absolutely boosted it up.
Oh, dear.
With 9 minutes to go, can I catch him up?
I don't think so.
You never know.
You got damage though, haven't you?
Yeah.
How are you going to catch him with damage?
Fast.
Yeah, true.
Why is it telling me to stop in on my box? Why is it showing me my box? Why is there a mechanic standing on my box? Oh wait, no, it's not. It's a graphic glitch. So Denny's just coming down the start of sector 2. And I'm just coming out the pit lane now.
We have got some unfortunate news. That is that Grey Wolf has pulled out of the championship. And in fact, I think he's retiring from sim racing by the looks of it. He's just put in Discord that he's done. He's left the server.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's well and truly, he's had enough.
Okay, then the gap might be a bit hard to close.
52 seconds. Yeah, I don't think you're going to make that up. You'd have to gain about 12 seconds a lap.
Well, I mean, if he spins.
Yeah.
I've run really wide there. But I've done the exact same thing the lap before, and I got a drive through. And this lap, I didn't get a warning. It's now 47 seconds. $25.6. This is going to be entertaining to the end.
Hmm.
Oh no, it's not going to happen.
Oh, Ryan's lost it. Coming through Radion into the wall. Big damage there on the front and the rear.
Yeah, that's me done.
That thing's no good to anyone, I think, after that.
That's a minute worth of damage.
Oh my god.
It actually felt fine going up the hill, and then all of a sudden it just flipped itself right.
It's gonna be more or less that.
And into the wall. That's a minute and a half. I will be returning to the pit lane.
It's quite an eventful first hour, believe it or not. And then it's just been completely and utterly, it's just died, this whole race, in the last sort of 25 minutes.
Windsor's just lost the back end through the stop.
5 minutes left to go here at Spa-Francorchamps for third round of the GT3s here at Motive on ACC here on the PlayStation platform. We started off with 15 cars, we've got 12 left at the moment. Oh, God. Torde's actually closing the gap to Dimenta here. I think Dimenta's got quite some hefty damage here, but Torde seems to be really closing them at quite a rate now as they come into the final sector. And Torde might be fancying his chances here, actually coming towards the bus stop. Torde's got a much quicker car. Look at that. That Bentley seems to be in pretty good nick. That Ferrari is hobbling around. As we see Dimenta very wide there, coming through Blanchimont, down towards the bus stop. Torde a little bit too far back at the moment. As Dimenta actually got quite a good run there coming through Blanchimont despite running wide. Probably got a warning, always gets onto the curb on the outside of the exit of the bus stop. That would have cost him a few tenths. He seems to have pulled away from the Torde though, even so. Recco Vantage meanwhile just having a good old sing-song out the front, enjoying life.
There's actually a good little battle between Denny and Windsor at the moment, even though a couple of laps apart.
Oh yeah. Windsor's currently P10, he's 3 laps ahead of Denny. Denny has been dropping down the order like a stone, but he has actually got some decent pace now. He's got a car that isn't heavily damaged. Looking to the inside into the source, Windsor just covers it off. Tries to park his car in a spot where he's not going too defensive, but he's also covering off any advances from Denny. Denny, they've got a good exit out of the source, and Windsor's just backed off and let him past. So that's that done. And Denny's into some clean air. And that's that. Torde, though, has got the gap down to a second to Dimenta, but that seems to be ebbing and flowing. At points, Dimenta seems to be quicker, and then at moments, Torde just seems to gain quite a bit of time. It's just, I think, little mistakes from Dimenta here and there. It's bringing Torde back into that battle. Final lap for Dimenta and Torde. Can Torde get this done up into P8? The gap down to 1.2. So he's gaining little bits here on Dimenta at this point. 7 of you currently watching, guys, smash that like button. Show your appreciation for these drivers out on track. As we are on the final lap. Reco Vantage leading the race. Got out in front. Got a nice lead early. Leads the race by 22 seconds from
Denny's just hit the wall.
Oh, is he? That'll be Windsor up ahead of him in a moment. Oh no, Windsor hasn't quite got onto the back of him. And Didi's in the pits. What is going on? Didi's not got enough fuel. Where is Archie? Archie could be about to inherit a podium here. This is unbelievable. Archie from nowhere has been driving on his own for this entire race. Didi, I think he will get... I think Archie's going to get him. Archie coming down the start-finish straight. Didi is only just pulling into the second part of the pit lane. Archie's going to get him by a long way. Archie's going to comfortably clear him.
Yeah, Archie's just jumped him.
Yeah, so Didi TKU not putting enough fuel in has thrown away a podium finish here in the late stage of this race due to not putting enough fuel in during his pit stop. Archie here coming around to take P3. Let's jump on board. Well, actually, let's come back to Reco in a second.
It's actually a battle and P8.
Yeah, Torde's throwing the kitchen sink here at Dimenta as we're coming in towards Stavolo. Sorry, not Stavolo, Campus. For what is the final time in this race for these two. Oh, is Dimenta a bit wide? Tornado keeping it a bit wide as well. Not able to keep it pinned to the corner. Not able to hit the apexes at the moment. Both of these two struggling on worn tyres. What's Torde got to throw at Dimenta here in the final sector of this lap? In the meantime, though, let's jump to Reco Vantage, who's coming through Blanchimont for the final time down towards the bus stop. It's been a dominant performance from Reco Vantage here. At points, Spuds was a bit quicker, but every time that it's looked like he might be a threat, he's had the answer. He's just had that little bit extra in the tank. He's been driving with damage as well since the start, but Reco Vantage up towards the line. It's going to take the checkered flag here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's going to be the victory. It's going to be 2 wins from 2 races that he's turned up to this season. 2 wins out of 3 for the whole season for Reco Vantage, but maintaining his 100% record from races he started this season.
Race has gone from great to worse.
He's lost out to I Am Slow as well.
He's got a drive-through penalty as well, so he will drop behind Nielsen.
Oh, as if Matt's couldn't get any worse.
And possibly Pete.
As if it couldn't get any worse there for Didi, but nonetheless, Spuzz here coming through the Spuzz has finished the race in second place. Archie coming through the final sector here as had third place given to him on a plate here, and he has said thank you very much for that. I will take that very gladly, as here he comes in the number 619 Lexus. He's just got this final bus stop chicane to go, and he will be completing the race. I Am Slow has got the final sector to go. He's just coming through into Stavolo now. You've got Archie coming out of the bus stop, and he's slowing. Has he run out of fuel? Hopefully not. Goodness me. Over the line comes Archie. He bins it into the wall as he crosses the line. I wonder what that was all about. Well, nonetheless, Archie comes over to take third place. I Am Slow coming through the Blanchimont down towards the bus stop. It's going to be a P4 here for him. So some decent points there. Finished on the podium in his first race here at Motive last week at Hungary. Follows that up with a P4 here at Spa. Not too shabby of an introduction to this league as he comes up towards the line to finish the race in P4. Didi is going to come through to take P5, but he's got a drive-through, so he's going to get a penalty for an unserved drive-through. So he's going to drop down to P7. Luckily for him, Dimenta, Torde, Windsor, Denny all a lap down, so he will still come P7, but Didi over the line will get slapped with an 80-second penalty for that one. That will promote Nilsson into P6 as he's coming through the final corner of the bus stop. Pete Biv actually really gained on Nilsson at the end, but didn't quite do it in time. Nilsson over the line to take P5 in the end. I think it'll be for Nilsson. P5 it should be. Yes, P5. Pete Biv P6. Didi finishes in 7th place. So Dimenta was the lap down. Torde almost got Dimenta at the end, but couldn't quite get there. P9 for him. Windsor completes the top 10. Denny, 4 laps down in 11th place. Ryan obviously joined a bit late and then pulled out with a couple of laps to go. Classified in P12, 7 laps down. Grey Wolf, P13, had to retire a few laps from the end. Unfortunately, that's the last that we're going to be seeing of Grey Wolf, at least for a little while here on the channel. Kodalungu there, P14, retired a long way out, didn't really finish, won't be classified, didn't complete enough for the race. Jazzman finishes classified in P15, didn't finish. Guitar Rich obviously left the race quite early on. But guys, that is that for the GT3s here, round 3 of the season here for the Wednesday GT3 League Automotive on the PlayStation platform. Guys, if you did enjoy, please smash a like, as it really does help us out. Not easy to commentate on a 90-minute race non-stop. So, yeah, shattered, to be honest with you. But even more bigger respect to the drivers, because they have given it their all, and they're probably going to be sweating their you-know-what's off at this point. So, yeah, well done to all the guys. Yeah, their backsides. But well done to all the guys.
Their backs, I'm sweating more from my back.
Yeah. Well, obviously, hopefully the guys are going to now take a well-deserved refreshing drink of water or a snack or whatever, if they haven't had their dinners yet, or a beer maybe. I mean, some people have got work tomorrow, so probably can't have too much to drink. But
you can always have a beer.
Yeah, true. Just wine won't hurt, will it? But nonetheless, that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for this race. Yeah, as I said before, drop a like on the video.